Hello and welcome to NYCryptoTalk. Today's project review is going to be on IHT coin, also known as iHouse token, which is a real estate protocol looking to get global real estate on the blockchain via a asset management protocol that they have built. So this is a very unique project in that it is trying to replace or be similar to an REIT, which is a real estate investment trust platform, and being able to break up a piece of real estate into pieces, break them up into different financial institutions, and be able to build a smart contract for each one of them, and allowing individuals to either purchase or be a part of these different real estate projects. Obviously, I have not gone into too many real estate projects, but this one definitely interested me, and I am very big on real estate investment. I want to eventually get into real estate investment. And I think the way that they're approaching this situation is definitely going to be very unique with the blockchain space. They are basically building ATOs, asset tokenized offering, and allowing individuals to buy specific pieces of real estate. I'm going to go through their website, go through a couple of articles that I thought were really interesting, and just some of the news regarding the platform, as well as jumping into the white paper to get a little bit more technical details on the project. So on their website here, you can see where their mission is to help every person to own and share their assets easily and gain from the share economy boost. Their vision is to create trustful share economy asset management ecosystem globally. So that's a lot of complicated words in a very short sentence. Basically, they want to be able to legitimize and have information readily available through the distributed ledger, which is blockchain, and have that information available for people and to easily build smart contracts to allow every individual to be able to buy and own and share these digital assets. These could also be things other than actual real estate. It can be different asset classes as well that they can eventually break up. They have talked about going into IoT and big data in a recent interview. So there's a lot of information that could be had with this protocol and what they're trying to envision. So their values are everything can be shared. Transparency is the most important element for trust, i.e. blockchain, everything's open up as long as it is an open blockchain model. Liquidity of assets shall be highly improved in this new world, the world of blockchain. Everyone can be the Airbnb landlord. Everyone can own a WeWork. The way of buying property asset can be disrupted and improved. So just think of this as an Airbnb, a condo, a timeshare. You can basically split up a piece of real estate into multiple things and into time slots. Building these smart contracts, you're basically allowing yourself to be the owner and make it a lot easier for you to be able to digitalize your assets and to make money. So if you're looking to buy a piece of property, you can buy a piece of property and split it up into multiple different pieces, have different financial institutions run each different piece, then each piece can then be split up into multiple individual class owners. So there's a lot of functionality and a lot of hierarchies involved with the project. So I thought it was really interesting on how they'd be able to break it down with their protocol. So their project introduction, IHT integrates global real estate markets with the blockchain mechanism. Through joining blockchain and real estate, the real estate developer, financial institutions, and users can be connected, and the transaction of real estate can be made part of a digital credit society, therefore constituting a pivotal supporting part of the economic development. All owners and investors will become beneficiaries of iHouse real estate blockchain. So right now, this is a market that is now, they have one ATO that's actually happening in Japan, and they plan to announce their second ATO this month. I'll go through the roadmap, but they have been approved, at least by lawyers that they've reached out to in the United States, and approved by the SEC. So they are actually one of the first SEC approved real estate protocol blockchain technologies in the United States, which is a big thing because they do plan to have a ATO here in the United States this year. So an ATO is an asset tokenized offering, and it is the way to order the asset party to launch a split. It is used to generate asset split and is recorded on the kernel ledger of IHT. All property rights and usufruct rights of the transaction shall be conducted under the asset's local fiat. IHT consumption in the wallet is only an inducement mechanism ATO. So it's not a currency. Everything is done through local fiat. IHT is basically just the inducement mechanism of the actual asset tokenized offering. So how can property developers launch an ATO on the IHT platform? When the property developer issues an ATO, it is necessary to make clear of the specific circumstances of the property, such as the real estate, the address, the property rights, and other relevant conditions, the sale of the real estate, whether share repurchase in a certain period of time, the subscription time, and the annual effective yield. So after determining all this information, they can officially publish the ATO. The property developers need to use the IHT in the wallet to act as the inducement mechanism to actually get individuals to purchase their asset. So how can financial institutions underwrite these actual assets? So after the financial institution has registered on the underwriting platform, they can then find the most suitable asset through screening and checking the classification. They will then be able to use the inducement mechanism, the actual token, for the underwriting shares of the assets. The specific quantity of IHT depends on the complexity and terms of each ATO. So if it's a very complex condominium complex, it'll be a lot more than a small Airbnb house. So after the completion of the underwriting, financial institutions can generate many subproducts from its original shares and release it on its own platform to show its users and display the portal of IHT. So if they buy a condominium with 500 units, they can then create those 500 subproducts from the original shares and then release it on its own platform, and then they'll be able to link the portal information directly from IHT to their website. So how can investors subscribe to the shares of the ATO? After the institution releases the subproducts on its own platform, users then can subscribe through the sales portal of IHT or subscribe on the IHT platform, which will then skip the sales page of the financial institution. The subproduct displayed on the IHT platform will then be recommended according to the user's personal interest and investment ability. So you'll be able to sort and filter what you want to purchase, what your asset class is, how much you're willing to spend, and that information will be available on the IHT platform. This is actually a really interesting visualization video, actually one of the best I've seen when it comes to understanding the platform, and this is a very intricate platform. It is not very common to understand how this works because real estate is generally very convoluted, very difficult to understand. I personally don't even know about it. There's a lot of rules and regulations, so definitely check out this video here. I don't want to go through this because I don't want to burn out 2 minutes of my video on this. You guys should definitely check this video out on their website. So as I mentioned before, they are basically trying to build off what they traditionally used as a REIT and the real estate investment trust, where the asset holders can audit, risk control, predict the asset package income by the third party, and seamlessly trade the real estate asset ownership and income rights. Through this process, the following advantages can be represented. Every asset is able to share within our platform. We provide full transparency of the asset income daily, weekly, and monthly. And within the asset cloud, assets can be transacted instantly and provide liquidity to investors. So a lot of information through the platform allows a lot more visibility than traditional means would have. So definitely there's a big plus when it comes to that. Here's a couple of screenshots of the project preview. This is all going to be available on their MVP once it is available. Looking at their roadmap, it's actually a bottom up, which I'm not a big fan of. When looking at a roadmap, you would think top down would be the best option. So just to show you guys, the initial business proposal started in 2016 for IHT, for iHouse, and they launched iHouse and integration of blockchain technology in May of 2017. They actually created the ICO in September of 2017. They started beta testing this Q1 of this year. Q2, they are planning to do the official launch of version 2.0, which I'll go into the different versions of the product. So that is within the next month this should happen. iHouse plans to expand to the United States, Australia, and Europe by Q4. They want to be able to cover over 10 major countries in the world by Q4 2019, including China. And Q4 2020, they want to be able to tokenize over $50 billion in assets. IHT shall be the leading global real estate cloud platform. So a lot of hopes and dreams for the project. Obviously, when I see anything in 2019, 2020, I kind of put push it to the back of my head because I truly don't believe anything that far out can really be visionized. You really need to be able to plan 2 to 3 quarters out. Everything after that is just a pipe dream because it is way too far to be able to understand that. So understanding that they plan to be in the United States, Australia, and Europe by end of year is definitely reasonable, and I do like the goals that they have. So looking at the team members, Ricky Ng is the chairman and founder, and if we go into his information, they talk about how he was the co-founder of multiple companies. He also created advertisement a myth of a $1 billion RMB per year, which was a major partner with Baidu and Tencent in China. He is also a former senior business analyst manager of Yahoo Asia. And if we go through a lot of the teams, you will see a lot of individuals from the Baidu and Tencent team, as well as Yahoo. So if we look at the top 20 largest internet companies in the world, we will see that Tencent is number 5 and Baidu is number 8. So there are quite a lot of individuals from these high-ranking companies that are currently working on this project, which I feel is always a big plus when it comes to the product team and the product experience from the individuals. Here you can see Tencent, Baidu. A lot of these people came from these existing tech companies with a lot of experience and a lot of information. There are also people who are involved with the Microsoft platform, and then the list goes on. They do have a very full team when it comes to technology, so they definitely are looking at having a full-fledged team. They also have some real estate individuals on their team who have the experience that they need there. Looking at the advisory board, we have the Gail Rosoliel, who is a private equity fund manager. He actually helps manage a 20 billion yen acquisition fund, as well as a cross-border high technology venture capital fund. And the other individuals on their advisory board are also top-notch. We also have people who are partners at the DFJ, which is the Dragon Fund, Draper Dragon, which is a huge venture capital fund, part of the Draper organization. Tim Draper, who's a big blockchain enthusiast, he is a special member there. He is not one of the lead partners in the company, but he is one of the people, the initial founders of the partnership. And here you can see the team background from Yahoo, Microsoft, Baidu, Wanda, MTR, iClick Interactive, and Xiaomi, which is a big tech company as well. And then the advisory background, you can see a lot of people from IBM, Aporti, Morgan Stanley, Fosun, Deloitte, LNY Law Office. So there's a lot of big companies here from IBM, Fosun, Deloitte, Morgan Stanley that I'm aware of. I'm not too familiar, LNY or Aporti. And then looking at the investors, this is where I really saw things shine. Obviously, Draper Dragon is one of the biggest. There's Badwater Capital, and then the biggest, which is Neo Global Capital. If you guys are not familiar, Neo Global Capital is the half part of the Neo Foundation. So apart from the actual technical side of things, there is the Neo Global Capital. This is the investment fund. This is the back-end financial information. Neo Global Capital actually did a backing with IHT. Here's the information from the NASDAQ.com website, where the strategy investment from Neo Global Capital went to IHT. So they are aiming at building the property version of Ripple. So a lot of great information here if you guys want to check this out. Obviously, anything that's backed by Neo, I'm a big fan of. I really do believe they have the vision to really see how blockchain is going to change over the next 5 to 10 years. Neo's backing of IHT is a big plus in my mind. Also, when it comes to news, IHT has its first ATO. As I mentioned, it's in Japan. So they're entering the tourism real estate market, and this is to expand the iResort Kurosawa's fundraising channels. So that is going to be the first ATO for IHT. And that first ATO pre-sales actually flew off the shelves, as they mentioned. Within the first 10 minutes, half of the pre-sales were actually sold, and they had over 1 billion people within the first few minutes as well on their website. So they did hold a press conference here in Japan for that ATO event, and they were highly successful. Their ICO also sold out within 10 minutes, so they do have a lot of brand recognition. They do have a high value in people's mind. So here they actually announced that they're going to have the second ATO plan and the plans to expand into IoT. So a lot of new pieces of information was released during a recent interview, and information in regards to having their second ATO project, as well as having 15 to 20 iHouse ATO projects completed by the end of 2018. So looking at the white paper, I'm just going to hit on some high-level stuff. So there are different versions of the platform. Version 1.0 of IHT is actually positioned as a PaaS, Protocol as a Service, which offers a standardized initialization and publication process for the ATO to asset owners, acting as a neutral agent for asset owners and financial institutions so that both parties can search and make deals. Meanwhile, IHT will continue progressing to blockchain as a service and act as an asset segmentation and management platform for the construction of mobile information applications for financial institutions. Finally, IHT 3.0 will evolve to a financial exchange based on physical access to improve the liquidity of physical assets. The video I mentioned earlier on their website actually does a great representation of being able to describe these different services, the protocol service, the blockchain service, and the financial exchange-based assets. Here's a great representation of the assets, both the regular traditional assets and a commercial asset, and how the smart contract will then work. So here you can see where the asset is, whether it's a piece of property. It will then go onto the ledger of the IHT, and then each piece can then be delved down to different pieces, segmented into different financial institutions, and then each financial institution can then create a subset, which will then become the users that can then subscribe to those specific pieces through the split. Here's a good representation of how total real estate will actually be moving in the near future. As of 2016, they said that there was approximately $217 trillion, which equals 2.7 times the global gross domestic product, 36 times the global gold mining worth, and accounts for 60% of global main assets. So real estate is huge, guys. If you guys are not aware, moving blockchain into real estate is a big move. So the different application scenarios, obviously, there are different ways to implement the project, and this is the different ideas that they have. The first one is the online application of the IHT platform, which in asset holders can go through the early audit, risk control, and prediction of asset package income by third-party, rapidly trade the real estate asset ownership and income rates. First, it's also to make real estate investment downsizing dynamic and transparent. Second, it has a very high transaction convenience. Third, information is transparent. So moving to the blockchain, that is the main goals of it. Also to acquire sharing economy assets. So forming new offline sharing apartments, hotel, or co-working space to form a new asset class for sharing economy. We can provide rental services, community services, property management, smart household services, and so on. So basically your Airbnb, Booking.com, your hostels, things along those lines can all be built within this. So timeshares, everything is being able to have this sharing economy assets built in. And they basically want to be able to become the blockchain of this industry. So at time of writing this, right now the current market cap is at $352 billion. IHT is now sitting at 19 cents with a market cap of $93 million. When I was looking at this yesterday, it was well over $100 million market cap. Things have changed in the past 24 hours, so don't take that into account. I have known about this project back since the end of March, which when it was sitting, give or take, around $24 million market cap, and it was just above 7 cents. So things have definitely changed, and the market is definitely moving for the project. They have seen a very nice increase in the past couple of weeks. This boom was most likely due to the ATO release that they had in Japan. There was a big request for having assets bought from that ATO, so they definitely saw a big increase over the time. I definitely think that this is a neo-backed platform, that they do have the opportunity to become a lot more. I think their idea and vision is definitely widespread, that they'll be able to capture a lot of information. It's not basically just real estate. They realize that they can tokenize a lot of things, assets, things they might even not thought of, that could be broken down into multiple subsets using this protocol and having this financial based platform for assets. So I definitely believe IHT has a lot to go. It definitely is sitting very low in the market cap right now. It's a really good buy, personally, in my own opinion. Obviously, not financial advice, but I would definitely tell everyone to give it a chance. Do some research, check out the white paper, go on their website, check out their videos, the Medium, all the different places that they post. I think there's a lot of great information about the project, and it's definitely worth the time to do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell notification to get notified about new videos, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thanks again for watching. Peace.